Okay, the Civil War begins. Let's backtrack just a little bit, going back to the election of 1860, which is what's going to kind of be the final straw or the spark that lights this fire. Remember the election of 1860, Lincoln wins the presidency with no Southern votes. Remember, if you're looking here on your top map, you can see Lincoln is in red, and he won no Southern states, but still became the president of the United States. So now the South feels that they will not have the power in Congress, the votes needed to protect slavery in the South. So the South is going to secede from the United States, with South Carolina being the first to secede, and they're going to name themselves the Confederate States of America. By the time it's all said and done, there's going to be 11 Southern states total. If you're looking at the bottom map down here on your right, you can see everything in gray is your Confederate States of America. The first fighting is at a fort in South Carolina named Fort Sumter. This is a fort that just happens to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's manned by Union troops just like every other fort in the United States, but when South Carolina secedes, the South Carolina Confederate soldiers take control of it and defeat the Union soldiers that are inside the fort. The Civil War is known as the first modern war because of the new techniques used during the war. They used both old and new methods of war. Cavalry, muzzle rifles, battlefield formations, but the new part, railroad to ship soldiers, to ship supplies, is going to make things a lot easier. The telegraph, so they can relay messages, battle plans, just any type of information that this could never be done before. The draft. Soldiers are drafted into the military, which means they are made to serve in the military. The first two submarines, which we'll talk about later, are used during the Civil War. The armored or ironclad ships, which made them harder to sink. So it was a much more aggressive ship, and the observation balloon to see what military formations your opponent may be in, or how large their force is, how many cannons they have, all types of information. The strategies of the North and the South. The Union, which is who is the North, we'll call the North, also call them the Union, decides on a plan called the Constrictor Plan or the Anaconda Plan. Now, how does an anaconda snake kill you? Remember, it's not a venomous snake. What that snake does is it wraps around you and constricts in until basically it suffocates you. The North's plan is to do the same thing. They're going to use their numbers. They have 10 times the soldiers of the South. They're going to use their numbers. They're going to split the South off down the Mississippi River, and they're going to constrict in towards Georgia, South Carolina area, bringing all of the Confederate soldiers into one place to have to fight against the much larger numbers of the Union military. The strategy of the South is to fight a defensive battle. They knew the land. All but 3 battles are going to be fought in the South, so the South is obviously much more knowledgeable of the terrain, where the best places to fight, the places that gave them the best advantages, kind of like home field advantage or home court advantage in a sporting event. Also, the South is dependent on European recognition. They are hoping that some European country would join them because of that country's need for Southern cotton. However, this never happens. Advantages of the North. Population. We're going to look at this a little bit more later on, but the population is 10 to 1, North versus South. The North has much larger population, many more soldiers than the South does. Large advantages in resources. Remember, they have more train track, they have more telegraph line. They have more factories in the North to make more clothes for their soldiers, boots, winter coats. They have more factories in the North so they can make more weapons. Most of your gun manufacturers are in the North. So this gives them a large advantage in resources and in transportation, using the much more railroad track they have than the South. The advantages of the Confederacy: they're defending their homes. This Union soldier, he might be 2,000 miles away from home, but that Confederate soldier knows if he loses, there's a good chance that his house is going to be burnt to the ground. So he's probably going to fight much harder. Strong sectional pride, just like you feel strongly for your school or whatever sports team you pull for. They have a lot of pride in being from the South. And then their biggest advantage is the better military tradition and leadership. Their leadership, General Lee, General Jackson, they're going to be much better led, commanded than the Union Army. Most of your military colleges are in the South, VMI, the Citadel. So their leadership is going to be much better than that of the North's.